Man, what's up, everybody? This is Dennis Sperling, also known as Uncle D, the Blizzard King. And man, I've been enjoying my vacation. First of all, Happy New Year to everybody. I really hadn't planned on coming back to the YouTube social media scene for a minute. I've just been chilling, enjoying life, enjoying my family, enjoying the fruits of my labor. As you guys know, I turned 50 years old. I turned 50 years old last year, man, and so this has just been a great year of reflection for me. And just a lot of things. I have an opportunity to look back. I look back at my friends who are not with me anymore. I look back at where I came from. I look at the people who I used to be around all the time, who I don't even want to be around. And I look at the people who I grew up with and where they are now, man. So I want to get a big shout out to my homeboy, Terrence Samuels, also known as Sumo, and my homeboy, Charles Sandover, who was a year younger than me, actually 2 years younger than me. We used to call him Sugar Bear back in the day. For you guys who read my book, man, that was Sugar Bear was the one. I needed some money to go to college, and man, Sugar said, "Well, shit, we can go slang this dope at this spot," and and I'm like, as we was driving, I was like, man, I can't do this shit. But he was still down with me, man, and I was like, nah. I end up turning around like, man, I can't do that. I don't want to put that sort of curse on myself, and be one of the ones who sold poison to my community. That's just not something I could live with. And but that was my homie, man, and I'm just proud of everybody. All my brothers, man, all my homeboys that went to Manual Arts High School. If you were there in the late 80s, shout out to Dog, shout out to Big Curtis, Maniac, my SA homies, Miguel, golly, Joe Gazzaro, Josue, man, rest in peace to Josue Garza, my homeboy Jamal, Basia, rest in peace to Jelani, lead quarterback, all my coaches, man. Shout out to all y'all, man. And so I'm wearing this hat for a reason, okay? It's my South Central LA hat, man. Shout out to the homie from Compton who sent me this hat, man. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you, man. MC Recovery, good looking out. And apparently MC Recovery works with my homeboy Nick. Look, man, let me say it like this. I put a post up the other day saying my New Year's resolution is to bench press 500 pounds. And golly, I got so many people push back. People like, man, you can't even bench 300 pounds. And my response was, look, well, I grew up with dudes that benched 300 pounds and 15 years old. They were benching 400 pounds by the time they were 16. And I come to realize that the mentality that I grew up with as a young man in South Central LA, we wanted to be men. We wanted to be strong. We wanted to be men because being strong was one of those attributes of masculinity. We wanted to be respected. And so it was a different mentality, and you had to earn it. You weren't just going to get respect just because you were a human being. And I'm not knocking you youngsters out there, man. I'm not knocking you. This is your time period you grow up in. I mean, but you couldn't wear skinny jeans and be walking around with a fanny pack and a purse and think somebody was just going to give you respect. I'm not saying that, I'm trying to equate what you all do to what I did, but we just had a different mindset about masculinity. It wasn't an anything goes. We didn't have safe spaces. You didn't have people who were going to cater to you. I remember my first day of football practice. It was hard. They cheated. You know what I'm saying? I'm down in my 4-point stance, and my coach is looking at me like, yeah, okay, you between the guard and the tackle, you got to go right through them. And man, he count, on my count, he said hut 1, hut 2. It was supposed to be a 3 count. By the time hut 2 happened, they was already digging in my chest. One of them went high, one of them hit low. Oh man, I've never felt so much pain in my life until the actual practice started. And then I'm sitting there holding a bag, and this big Mexican dude named Miguel Jimenez, he was a pulling guard. He came from the left position and came, man, I threw that bag down to try to hit him, and I ran into him full speed. Mind you, I'm about 275 pounds at that time. Man, he hit me so hard, man, I must have flew back 5 to 10 yards. But my thing is, what I'm trying to explain to y'all, man, that's how you earn respect as a man, being tough, being strong. And when I say strong, we literally lifted weights sometimes 4 times, some of us 5 times a week. I mean, we had we had a full-blown weightlifting program. It was a running back. His name was James Dixon. James could bench press 500 pounds. By the time he turned 18, he was bench pressing 500 pounds. My homeboy, Maniac was 17 with a jerry curl. He was probably about 5'11", maybe 6 feet tall. He was bench pressing 400 pounds at 17. And I'm not talking about a big dude. I'm talking about a decent-sized man who was probably 205 pounds at that time, because it was a different mentality. We were built, genetics were different. I mean, look, I'm not knocking your choices and who you decide to be with, but in the 1980s, you looking at the first generation of children who were born to the people who had just immigrated or migrated from Louisiana, Arkansas, Texas, Georgia, Florida, North Carolina, South Carolina, Oklahoma, and they just came out to the east side of LA. And so you had a bunch of black folks who had children by other black folks who were from the South. And so what that means is you had those same genetics that's in the SEC right now. It wasn't watered down. We didn't have a lot of Mexicans. It wasn't a lot of integration as far as interracial relationships. So you got some strong black men being raised by some strong black men, okay? Even if you didn't have a dad in the house, it was some Vietnam vets around that wasn't going for it. You're going to be strong around here. You're going to learn how to box. Man, my uncles used to put me on the side of the house with this little boy named Davion, black-ass Davion. I hated him, man. And they would have me and Davion boxing it out every day. And I was probably 4. Davion was probably about 5.5 or 6. And what I'm trying to tell you, man, they made us tough. And so, you know, me telling you guys my goal is to hit 500 pounds this year, y'all like, you can't do that. You're 50. You're going to need to take all sorts of medications and pills. And I'm not taking that. I'm black, but I'm a different kind of black. I'm strong black, raised by strong black from the 1970s and 80s. I'm those people. You guys are if y'all spent less, and I love y'all youngsters, man, but if you spent less time fantasizing about what you think you're supposed to have and looking at other people's Instagram pages and focus on what's right now, what's right in front of you and what you're trying to do, you can have it too. But the main thing is, fellas, y'all are too fluid with your masculinity. You can't be a man and then turn around wearing high heels, okay? You can't be a man and be 100% masculine and you got your fingernails painted. You running around here with, you know, just looking goofy. Look, I'm going to tell you like this, man. We had dudes back in the day, like I look at Dr. Dre when he was with the Cold Crush team. We thought he was goofy then. We thought he was weird then. He was an outcast. That's how they got attention. And then, you know, he transitioned and now he became a gangster rapper. But to a lot of people like, oh, man, that's a lot of dudes like that. You know, we recognize that's some fakeism going on. You know, same thing with these tough guys like Snoop Dogg and all. Like, y'all, come on, man. And the other crazy thing is, back in the day, you know, it was dudes in the hood that sold drugs. But those weren't the tough guys. Those was just dope dealers. A lot of them got punked by the gangsters. Give me your money, man. You want to sell in this community, you're gonna have to pay up. They was extorted by the real tough guys in the community. And then the other thing is gang banging, dope dealing, and all that other stuff. Those were just other occupations in the hood. You had all sorts of folks who did below the table sort of activities in the community. And they were all just ghetto occupations. But the one thing you had to understand is you still had to be a man. And you still had to exhibit these manly qualities. And part of that meant you had to be tough. You had to be strong. And when you snatch that away, when you snatch that requirement away from modern day masculinity, you get a bunch of dudes who are befuddled by the fact that a 50-year-old man can bench press 400, 500 pounds without taking all these different supplements. Because, see, strong starts up here. That's the main thing. Your willingness to endure pain to get what you want. But if you're going to sell out and fold up every time things get hard, you get what you get. We are in a soft generation. And look, I'm going to tell y'all, I love y'all. I love you young brothers. I love you, I take care of you. I talk to you. And, I got young sons, and I'm trying my best to convince them what they need to do. You see what I mean? Like, you can't just, you look, man, you can't be running around here, trying to be cute for the girls and then still be the man and be a man, be the man. You see what I mean? Like, you guys like the way some of y'all like Andre, I believe his name, Andrew Tate. Y'all respect him because he's a tough guy. And, he talked tough. He ain't got shit on my football coaches. You see what I'm saying? They would cuss you out and call you everything but the child of God and say, get your dog ass back out there and be a man. I mean, this was par for the course. That he's sanitized. We wouldn't even listen to him. You see what I mean? I grew up with dudes 17 looking like they 35, straight out of Vietnam. This is what I'm talking about. I grew up with men, grown-ass men who had to do grown man stuff. And so because of that, man, we had to, that's the environment that we lived in. And when you're a man and you set the goal and you're willing to deal with the pain associated with achieving that goal, then you'll get there. If not, bam. You damn near there. And so, like, people trip out. I had this one dude post up something, you can't even hit 300 pounds. And then I just put a little link up of me hitting 300 pounds. And this is like a month ago. And like, how can you do that? Because I'm strong, I'm big. And on top of that, I'm mentally tough. Never having taken any supplements, none of that steroid stuff. Another dude was like, how can you go to a football college? I mean, how can you go to a high school where half the students, the majority of the young men around there as teenagers lifting as much as NFL players? Because a lot of the dudes I went to school with are men. You understand? And a lot of these modern day football players are soft. Just like a lot of these modern day basketball players and athletes are soft. These modern day boxers are soft. You a soft generation, fellas. And I love y'all. I'm just saying, I love you. I understand what you're going with. You're dealing with easy times. You're going to be soft. We had it differently. It was a threat just to walk down the street, but you had to do it anyway. And I'm not talking about just all in your mind. You might get punched in the mouth. You might get jumped. You might get jacked. You might get beat up by multiple people. You might have to square up. I mean, when I look back at South Central LA, sometimes, man, it seems something like a prison farm. What do I mean by that? Like we were getting ready to go to the penitentiary. That's what it felt like sometimes. It felt like you were getting ready, getting your muscles up, learning how to scrap these sort of things, mentally preparing yourself. Even the high schools we went to, it looked like institutions. They had the same people painting the buildings, gates up around, and so we had to be tough because you never know where you're going to end up. And you couldn't be a punk because if you didn't fight, if you didn't protect yourself, if your reputation was that you wasn't one that was willing to defend yourself, guess what? You was going to have to fight every day till you did. And so this is a mentality that I come from, man. And so like you youngsters, it's like to me, it's like y'all think I'm some kind of alien. Yeah, my goal is to try to bench press 500 pounds this year. I mean, my max, I think when I was like 35, I think it was 465. You know, it wasn't that heavy. It's just a matter of lifting weights and, you know, doing what you do, eating good, you know what I mean? And relying on that mentality. You know, some of you guys, this goal is so far removed from what you think you can do, and you don't have the toughness because you never really been through anything. When things get hard, a lot of you dudes fold up, you know, and so you can never accomplish that goal. You're never going to have a house. You're never going to have a family. You're never going to be able to stick it out and raise your children. You're never going to be able to have a job worth having or a career because when things get hard, you just fold up and quit. You see another man that has things, instead of saying, man, I can do that too, you hate on him for how he got it, or you in disbelief for how he got it. He got a nice car. Oh, he must have got that used. Oh, that car was cracked and he just had it rebuilt. There's no way possible. He must have got it. He must be the Illuminati. Instead of saying, damn, he's better than me, instead of saying, damn, he's smarter than me, he's stronger than me, he must have got it unfairly, because you are imposing your limitations on somebody else because of what you can't do. And that's just it. Look, I'm going to tell you like this. I could probably bench 405 right now. But if I was to go talk to my homeboys who I mentioned earlier, all right, Dennis, you finally caught up. We was benching 405 and 17, you 50. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but whatever, man. You know, I'm still stronger than 90% of the people on earth. You see what I mean? But my thing is, that's the mentality that we grew up with. You know, it's like, golly, man, it's just sad. I remember it's a football player. What's my man name? Golly. Number 73. He played for the Dallas Cowboys. He was a guard. His name slips my mind. Brother benched 705 pounds. He was from Compton. And to me, yeah, that's the homie from Compton. He played with Eric Will. I can't believe his name is slipping my mind right now. But he played with Eric Williams on the Dallas Cowboys. Somebody in the chat room, man. What's the brother's name, man? 73 Dallas Cowboys. He went to Sonoma State. He died last year. But you know, I can't believe the name is gonna come to in a minute, man. Oh man, this is so. Anyway, it's gonna come to him. But the fact that the brother was from Southern California, from Compton, and was able to bench 700 pounds, it's the same mentality. That's what I'm trying to explain to y'all. You had to be a man out there. I mean, being strong was just part of the culture as far as young men. And I'm talking about, it's not that far removed. 80s, 90s. This is not that far removed. Somewhere around 2000 something, man, dudes start wearing purses and skinny jeans. You know, and people laughed it off like, yeah, you know, that ain't that. But what that let me know is you young men were willing to compromise your masculinity. Like, we weren't willing to compromise our masculinity. We wanted to be men. We wanted to be strong. We wanted to have our own cars. We wanted to have our own places. We wanted to have everything that was. We act tough. We talk tough. We walk tough. And so you had to be tough. But a lot of you young guys say, nah, I don't want to be tough. I want to paint my fingernails. All right? You know, I don't want to be tough. I'm going to go pretend like I'm one of them off-brand dudes in the Rainbow Coalition. That's on you. You know what I mean? It's on you. But in doing that, now you're looking up and you like, well, you know, what happened to me? Why can't I do what those other men do? It's because you compromise your manhood. And I'm not saying you full-flung, you know, Brokeback Mountain. I'm not saying that. I'm saying anytime you compromise your manhood, you lose something. Anytime you allow your manhood to be diminished or emasculated, you lose something. I'm not talking about just full-on doing something, you know, that they do, you know, under the rainbow flag. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is You got to be 100% manly all the time. Stop listening to people telling you need to be in contact with your emotions and express your emotions and all. Sometimes you need to be stoic. Sometimes you just need to deal with it. Because when you internalize that, you use that as energy. Yeah, you might be angry, you might be upset, but don't go blabbing off and crying and boo-hooing and whatnot. And stop getting mad at other men for their success. That's just crazy to me, man. Like I was saying earlier, you can't believe that this guy is so much better than you. Your ego and your emotions won't allow you to take the fact that this man is better than you. And so you say he must be cheating because that makes you feel better. That's what women do. That's how women cope with their inadequacies. They try to diminish somebody else's shine to make themselves feel better. But that's no way to run it. That's not how men operate. If I see another man better than me, well, shit, I'm going to try to beat him at his own game or find some other way to beat him, but I got to compete. You see, I'm not just going to just say, well, you know, he must have cheated. Oh, he rich. Oh, man, he got a beautiful woman. Oh, yeah, she just wanted for his money. Oh, he got a big house. He must be part of the Illuminati. I hear people all the time. There's no such thing as a rich man who got his money honestly. What if he won the lottery? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now. Y'all just what about these hard-working dudes out here? I know plumbers right now that got multi-million-dollar houses because they started businesses and went from plumbing, got to be a contractor, now they contractors, general contractors, they building subdivisions. They got their work. This is what America's about. But some of you guys are just giving up. I hear people all the time, we're never going to be able to own a home. The homes you had back in the 1950s, which were so inexpensive, yeah, but it didn't take them that long to put those houses up. These were little cookie cutter homes. That was a couple $1,000s. They had mansions back then. Those would take years to build. But if you just wanted a little house to put yourself in, I mean, basically some of those houses that you all complain about these older generations having, they were just little put together homes, man. And what I'm trying to say is all this land in America, and you all are telling me, oh, it's too hard. I'll never have a home. They told us the same thing. I graduated, and as soon as I graduated from college, we hit that 2007, 2008 recession. And they're going to say, oh, no, the world's going to end. It's going to be too hard. Now here we are almost 20 years later. And now we got another generation of people complaining about what they don't have. Man, imagine if I had that mentality that you have growing up in South Central LA. Nah, I would have never gotten anything. And that's why y'all not ever going to get anything, because you're not, and I'm talking to the fellas. Look, again, I love y'all. I respect y'all, man. You know, you do your thing. You know what I mean? But you got to understand that these are the circumstances that you're dealing with, and you just got to deal with them. And you got to set the trend. You got to deal with them. And if you don't, you gonna fold up. And there's nobody, the only thing that can teach you is life and how you respond to the circumstances that happen to you in your life. Because I can't tell you. It's just some things you got to experience, and it lets you know what type of person you are. And as far as men, and I don't really, the ladies, they got their own burdens to deal with. But as far as a man, you got to embrace your masculinity 100%. Because that's your meal ticket. That's the only thing that's going to carry you through is your man. If you a man, you got to be more man than every other man out there. If you want a successful woman, a successful family, you want a successful career, you got to be a man. You're just like we always tell women. The key for women is their femininity. But hell, the key for men is your masculinity. And that's what you got to have. If you want to make that's your magic carpet that's going to carry you through life. And you got to embrace your manhood, because if you don't, man, you just going to be a little bitch out here in these streets. Bitching and complaining, looking at somebody else's shine or somebody else's success, wondering why you don't have it. Complaining about them and complaining about that. I mean, look on my community page, man. I'd say my 500-pound bench that. No, you won't. You'll never do that. You won't. I mean, just think about that. That's how you go through life. bitching and complaining about what another man has? Huh? Complaining that he had it and he got it and you don't believe he got it. And then I put the video footage of me up there, bam, pushing that iron out. My gym right there. Look. That's my gym right over there. Can y'all see that? That's my gym right over there, fully stocked. Olympic-sized weights, man. I got about 2,000 pounds back there. Everything. So, you know, and again, and I keep that there because what? I'm not trying to go to LA Fitness. You know, when it's ready for me to work on my strength, which is one of the attributes of manhood and masculinity, I don't need to go nowhere. You know, and that just should let you know, man, you guys, man, just, look, I love y'all, but y'all got to chill on the hate, man. You really do. You youngsters, man, you know, you got to chill. I come from a different time, different mindset, different set of genetics, different upbringing, different mentality. And it's as foreign to you as if I was an alien or something like that. But the cold part about it is it's other men around there if they'll talk to you. But we just don't talk to y'all, man, because y'all really not trying to hear what we're trying to say. You think you know everything? And, you know, you can't talk to somebody that don't want to be talked to. You got to let people hit rock bottom in order for them to be, you know, to embrace what you have to say. And if they listen, they listen. And then, see, that's another thing. A lot of us grew up in situations where a lot of folk didn't make it. Many of us didn't think we were going to live past 24, 26 years old. So, you know, if you don't make it, you don't make it. And if you do, you do. And we salute you for that. But I'm not about to just try to force you into accepting advice that's good for you if you don't want to hear it. And see, that's the other thing. I'm not here to save you. I'm not here to save nobody. Can't save people. I tell my own sons, man, as soon as you get ready to be a man, you want to hit that door, whoop, you gone. You know what I mean? I can't wait. Because that's how it was for me. As soon as you start bucking up, I'm not here to save you, homie. And I'm talking to my own sons like that. And I love them with all my heart. But they got to make it. I'm giving them all the tools that they need. I'm pushing these issues with them so that they can be manly, get you a job, get you a car, stay out of trouble. Make sure you get your physical fitness on, get as much education as you can. But after that, you a man on your own, and that's the mentality I grew up with. I mean, I was a Pharaoh generation type dude. We was out there in the wilderness. You know, there's no helicopter parents, and it wasn't nothing to do in the house. You didn't have cell phones. Maybe you had like a little Nintendo, or before that, a little Atari game or something like that. But for the most part, you had to go on out in the streets. You want to socialize, you got to go to the basketball court. And the G's was up there. And I'm not talking about rainbow flags either. I'm talking about dudes that represent where they from with their fingers and such. And it's the same thing all around, man. Whether we talk about Chicago, back in the 80s and 90s, different mentality. But especially South Central Los Angeles, where I'm from. Compton, Inglewood. It's just a different mentality. But again, I love y'all. I want to see you ball. I want to see you do well. But the message here, fellas, is embrace your manhood, embrace your masculinity, and everything there is to embrace about traditional masculinity. You might not like some of the political candidates, but you might not like their politics, but what a lot of people are embracing is traditional roles, traditional female roles, traditional male roles. That's what you see coming back. People that tired of all that switched up tornado stuff where everything's mixed up. You don't get nothing from that but broken people, you know, with mixed emotions and mixed ideologies and confusion. Nobody likes that. That didn't work. We tried that for about the past 20, 30 years, and for the past 15 years, it's been really pushed. Came in with Barack Obama, and it didn't work. So go ahead, fellas, man, and embrace your masculinity, man. Again, I love y'all. This is Uncle D. Shout out to everybody who came through in the chat room. I see y'all. I ain't been talking to y'all, man. I see y'all, man. But what was the brother's name? Not Eric Williams, played for the Dallas Cowboys. I can't believe I forget my man's name like that. He recently passed away. Number 73, played right tackle. Oh, man. I'm upset about that. Y'all let me know, man. I forget his name, man. But shout out to everybody, man. This is Uncle D. I love you.